The New York Knicks did not need to be perfect tonight. They just needed to be tougher than the Philadelphia 76ers when it mattered most. And that is exactly what happened. Final score, New York Knicks 108, Philadelphia 76ers 102. The Knicks are now up 2-0 in the Eastern Conference semifinals. And this series is starting to look very one-sided, very fast. Now, before we get into the numbers, let us set the scene properly. The 76ers came into Madison Square Garden without Joel Embiid, their franchise cornerstone, their anchor in the paint, the one player who changes everything about how you have to defend Philadelphia. Embiid is still dealing with ankle and hip injuries, and his availability for the rest of this series is, at this point, genuinely uncertain. And yet, the Sixers kept this game competitive deep into the fourth quarter. That tells you two things. One, Tyrese Maxey is built different, and two, the Knicks are going to have a real problem on their hands if Philly ever gets fully healthy. But we will come back to that. For most of this game, the Philadelphia 76ers were right there. They were hitting from three. They were moving the ball. Tyrese Maxey was doing what Tyrese Maxey does, getting into the lane, drawing fouls, keeping that offense alive. Through the first 24 minutes of basketball, Maxey had 19 points. He looked like a man on a mission, and for a stretch, it genuinely felt like the Sixers might steal this one. But then the second half came, and the Knicks made an adjustment that changed everything. New York started blitzing Maxey in every pick-and-roll situation. Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, whoever was nearest, they came hard at Maxey every single time he put the ball in motion. And what that did was force the Sixers supporting cast to beat New York with open shots. Paul George had his moments from the mid-range, finishing with 19. VJ Edgecombe, the rookie, showed some flashes, put up 17. But when it came to crunch time, when Philadelphia needed someone to step up and manufacture a bucket in isolation, when they needed someone other than Maxey to take a big moment on the road, the answers were not there. The Sixers scored 12 points in the fourth quarter. 12 in a playoff game. On the road, yes, but 12 points in the final period is not a formula that wins basketball games at this level. 18 turnovers on the night from Philadelphia made everything worse. Maxey alone had 6 of those turnovers, and you could see the fatigue setting in. He finished with 5 points in the second half after that brilliant first 24 minutes. By the time that fourth quarter wound down, he looked exhausted, both physically and mentally. And while Maxey was running on fumes, Jalen Brunson was just getting warmed up. Brunson finished with 26 points on the night, matching Maxey's total, but it is where those points came from that matters. 8 of his 26 came in the fourth quarter alone. Brunson is the type of player who does not simply perform in big moments. He seems to elevate because of them. While Philly's offense was grinding to a halt, Brunson was making individual decisions with the game on the line that just looked clean, calm, surgical. 6 assists on the night, 6 turnovers from the opposition versus just that level of composure from New York's point guard. That is the difference in this series right now. And while we are talking about Knicks contributors, we cannot move past what Karl Anthony Towns did in 27 minutes of playing time. 20 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 3-pointer made. The man was a triple-double waiting to happen, and he did that while spending significant stretches on the bench with foul trouble. This is the version of Karl Anthony Towns that the Knicks signed him to be. The version that does not just score, but facilitates, that commands double teams in the post and then finds the open man. New York outscored Philadelphia 56-30 in the paint. When you have a big man like Towns operating at that level, that kind of interior dominance becomes almost impossible to answer, especially without Joel Embiid on the floor. Mikal Bridges also deserves his flowers tonight. He has turned a corner in these playoffs after a slow stretch earlier in the season. 9 of 13 from the field, 18 points, but more importantly, his defensive assignment on Tyrese Maxey in the second half, absorbing those blitzes, staying physical, making Maxey uncomfortable. That was the real contribution. When the Knicks needed a bucket late to push the lead to 6, it was Bridges who delivered. He is rounding into form at exactly the right moment for New York. Now, we need to talk about OG Anunoby, because what happened late in this game should concern every single Knicks supporter who is thinking ahead. Anunoby was outstanding. outstanding tonight. 24 points, 9 of 17 from the floor, 5 rebounds, 4 steals, a block. He was the best player on the floor for long stretches. And then, with roughly 2.5 minutes remaining, he jogged back up the court, asked to come out of the game, and walked toward the bench with a noticeable limp. He did not return. He went to the locker room. And when reporters asked Knicks head coach Mike Brown about it after the final buzzer, all he could offer was this, and I quote, "I haven't talked to anybody. He looked like he was hopping." That is not a reassuring answer. And this situation carries some painful historical weight for New York. In 2024, during the second round against the Indiana Pacers, Anunoby suffered a hamstring injury, also in Game 2. Also after the Knicks had taken a 2-0 series lead. The Knicks ultimately lost that series in 7 games, with Anunoby barely able to contribute in the deciding game. If you are a Knicks fan, that memory does not sit easy right now. The Knicks are 2 wins away from back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals appearances. Anunoby's health could determine whether that happens. As for Philadelphia, they head home to Xfinity Mobile Arena for Game 3 on Friday. And this is not a team that does not know how to come back. The Sixers fought back from a 3-1 deficit against the Boston Celtics in the first round. They know adversity. They have been in the fire before. But the reality of this situation is stark. They are down 2-0. Their best player is injured and questionable. Their point guard is showing signs of exhaustion. They scored 12 fourth-quarter points in a must-win game on their opponent's floor. For the Sixers, Game 3 in Philadelphia is not just the most important game of this series. It is the most important game of their season. They need a crowd. They need Embiid. Or at minimum, they need something close to Embiid. And they need Tyrese Maxey to find that ISO gear that right now, opponents seem to know he does not fully have. The New York Knicks have won 5 consecutive playoff games. They are operating with confidence, depth, and a defensive system that shuts down opposing star players in the second half. And even with an injury question hanging over their most valuable defensive piece, they have the look of a team that believes in where this is going. Philadelphia has to find an answer, and they have to find it quickly. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the Sixers can claw back into this series, or is New York closing this out in 4? And if you are not subscribed yet, make sure you tap that button so you do not miss the Game 3 breakdown when it drops.